everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Human Physiology video tutorials with me, Dr. Amir Sandhu. Now in this video I'm going to continue what I was talking about in previous videos about overcoming the plateau that we have when we start a strength training program. Now, we're going to talk specifically about the German volume training, which was developed by Rolf Feser in the 1970s for the German Olympic weightlifting team, who had considerable success with this training program. It was also used by Jacques Demers in the 1984 Olympics. And Jacques actually won a silver in the Olympics and attributed his success to German volume training, to initiating that or including that in his training program. So first of all, let's just recap and remind ourselves about the training program, the training routine. So essentially we do a training routine. We have an increase in strength. Remember we talked about in the previous video that the initial 6 to 8 weeks are neural adaptations, and then following on from that, it's mainly hypertrophy. But the problem is, we reach this little plateau, okay? And it's this plateau that we want to try and overcome. Now, at the moment, research is inconclusive about the best training program to overcome the plateau. And there's various different training programs that you can try. And this is one of many that you could try. But because we know that it's quite successful, it has been suggested or stated that up to 4.5 kilograms of muscle mass can be put on, okay, in just 6 weeks from this training program. So there are people, and I've actually used the training program myself, and it resulted in considerable gains in strength, and I was able to increase my own personal best for various different exercises. So I can vouch personally for this. It's a very difficult training routine to initiate, but we'll talk through a little bit about what it actually is. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe off this part here, and we'll go through the main parts of German volume training. Essentially, it is 10 sets of 10 repetitions. And those are of about 70% of your one repetition max, RM, okay? So you're going to do, so what you should do is 10 sets of 10 repetitions, 70% one repetition max of the exercises which target the major muscle groups. So we're talking about squats. Okay, now this is an interesting fact. When you do squats and you do the proper movement all the way down, bum to the floor, you use approximately 200 different muscles to perform that up and down movement. 200 different muscles, that's incredible. So it's an exercise which targets all of the muscle groups within the body. It's a very dynamic exercise. Okay, so we've got squats. We've also got deadlifts. Okay, so deadlifts, and you can also do this with the military press or shoulder press, so military press, and of course bench press as well, okay? Now, you don't need to do this exercise for isolation type machines. So if you've got machines which isolate a particular muscle, like the pec deck or the leg extension or the hamstring curl, you do not need to do it for those exercises. You can keep those, if you're going to do them, just what you would normally do, 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. For hypertrophy or for strength, you would do somewhere between 4 to 6 reps. But if you're focusing on the German volume training, it's very important that your form and technique is perfect for these exercises. So it's not suggested to do other exercises, particularly not at the beginning. It's better to focus just on these exercises, and obviously you're giving your whole body an opportunity to increase as a result of the 10 sets, 10 reps method. So it's 70%, one repetition max of these major exercises, okay? And what you're actually going to be doing is causing significant adaptations to occur within the muscle itself, and we'll talk about those in the upcoming parts. But essentially, the first 1 to 2 sets are going to feel rather difficult, okay? So if we say the first 1 to 2 sets, they're going to feel quite difficult, okay? Then from around about set 3 to 6, you'll kind of settle into it, okay? Obviously, you would make sure that the body is nice and warm, but there will be some adaptation occurring in your neuromuscular system, and you'll start to adapt into it, okay? Then sets 7 to 8, okay, they may become difficult again. Because when you think about it, you're consuming a lot of energy to perform this movement, and you do start to get neuromuscular fatigue occurring as well. So you're going through these phases with this exercise. It's not all consistent. So you're tackling this exercise by utilizing knowledge about how you might feel in these particular stages, in these particular set ranges. Okay, and then from around about the last 2 sets, 9 to 10 sets, you're able to find some degree of energy to power through those sets. So it then becomes, I'm not going to use the word easy, but you can finish strong, okay? All the while you're maintaining the 10 reps and you're going through these sets. It's very important to pick a weight, okay, which allows you to do the 10 reps. So if you do 70% of one repetition maximum, you find that you can only do 8 reps and then you start to struggle, you need to perhaps drop the weight down a little bit. Equally, if you're able to do 11 or 12 reps, then it means that the weight is perhaps a little bit too light and you need to just up it slightly so that you're really, by the time you get to the 10th rep, you really cannot do any more, and by the time you're doing rep number 7, rep number 8, you are really concentrating and pushing hard to reach that 10. So this is by no means, the set should not be easy, but it will go through these stages, but as I say, you can read about this on the internet as well, but it is a method of training which has been used in Olympic athletes, and as I say, in the German weightlifting team in the 1970s. Now, one variation of this is to do exactly the same thing that we've done here, but change it to 5 sets of 5 reps, okay, and this will work also on your power, okay, so 5 sets and 5 reps, again 70% of one repetition maximum, and again this is a good way to introduce yourself to German volume training. So if you don't want to go all out for the 10 sets 10 reps method, you could start with 5 sets and then use 5 reps, and then as you progress on, after a couple of weeks, you go into the German volume training. So this is an example of one method to help you overcome the plateau that you might experience in your training, that we all experience in our training. As always, it's very important that you use correct form, correct technique, because you are doing, particularly in the later sets, you're going to be tiring, so you are doing movements which increase your risk of injury potentially if you fatigue and you don't perform the movement correctly. So at all times you should give priority to your technique, to your form, but I hope this information is something that you can take away and utilize into your training routines, and as a method to overcome the plateau. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.